Welcome to the Raj Smriti show. This is our special series on International Women's Day, and today we have with us Dr. Amrita Dass, Founder Director, Institute of Career Studies. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Raj Smriti. I'm delighted to be here. More so because I've been following all your other series with immense interest.
Thank you, ma'am. So if we talk about, Institute of Career Studies, rarely we find such institutes in the common domain, or common people, I would say, are not aware that there's a whole institute for this kind of study, or help for choosing a career, or counselling is available. So before we come to that, I would like to know your journey. How were you as a child? What was your background? What were your dreams as a little girl?
So I had a lovely childhood. Very loving parents, a loving family. We are 2 brothers and 3 sisters. I'm the eldest.
Oh, wow.
And the parents made sure that there was a lot of family time and took immense interest in what we were doing as children. Came to all our school functions, even though my father was very busy. He had a hectic life in the police. He was the first Director General of Police of UP. He made sure that there was plenty of time for the children. And we went on holidays together. So, beautiful, happy, fun-filled childhood. And what was also very interesting is because it was a transferable job, got used to moving to different schools, making new friends, and learning so much more.
Wow.
So that was the childhood. Family time, travels, making new friends in different places, and that empowers you.
Very true. You learn so many things from people around you. You meet and interact.
You learn a lot. You become more confident. You become more outgoing. I was always very interested in academics and studies, but equally interested in extracurricular activities because I feel the two together help you to develop a well-rounded personality.
And an all-round development happens.
Yes, so the extracurricular activities that fascinated me were dramatics, debating, music. So I was always part of the school or college choir, and social work, community service. So this was very much a part of my life, and it has continued to be a part of my life.
Lovely.
I studied in Isabella Thoburn College for my bachelor's.
What was the stream there?
So I did Bachelor of Arts,
Okay.
and I had English, education and history.
Okay.
I was always interested in education. And while a lot of my friends went to Delhi to study, my last years were in Loreto Convent, I decided on Isabella Thoburn College because my Dadiji, Dr. Amrita Dass, was the first Indian principal of an American-run college.
Wow.
And this was during the British days, which was very unique.
So the perfect example of women empowerment, I would say, happened that time.
1939 to 45, she was principal. And because it was an American-run college, she could lead the students and faculty to participate in the national movement.
Wow. Wow.
So she invited eminent freedom fighters to come and speak to the students. So Shri Jawaharlal Nehru came, Subhash Chandra Bose.
Lovely.
So many others came and talked to the students. And because the college celebrated all festivals, Eid, Diwali, Holi, Christmas, Gandhiji, who had come to Lucknow, who knew about the college, said, every politician should study at Isabella Thoburn College.
Lovely.
Because he had a very secular
mindset
approach to the country and its progress.
True.
So I decided I wanted to study at IT college. And I loved every moment of being there.
It's a beautiful college. I've been there. It's
fantastic
lovely
campus. I had great teachers. I remember an American teacher, Dr. Bertha Caulfield, and she taught us English. She also taught us drama, music. So there are a lot of activities that happened. I won a scholarship, merit scholarship each year, and I was also the Woman of the Year for the college when I graduated. After that, I went to the Lucknow University and decided that I wanted to do research for a PhD because education was always a fascination.
True.
History was my favorite subject. So I did my MA, I topped with 2 gold medals.
Lovely.
And after that, I decided to do a PhD in history, world history.
Okay.
So my topic was fascinating and is very relevant today. Anglo-Russian rivalry.
Anglo-Russian
Rivalry and its impact on British India, 1835 to 1885. So it covered all of Afghanistan, the Afghan wars, which continued to be center stage. Afghanistan continues to be center stage when it comes to global politics, geopolitics. So I did my PhD. Now, to be able to look at original documents, it was important for me to go to UK.
Okay.
Because this was British days, so there was the Public Record Office, India Office Library, British Museum, the Bodleian at Oxford that had all the original papers for this period. So I got a fellowship from the ICHR, Indian Council of Historical Research. And I went to UK. I joined the School of Oriental and African Studies, London University. I had Professor Emmy Yap as my supervisor there. Now my year in London was mind-blowing.
Wow.
I realized that there are so many opportunities that we don't know about.
True.
And that exposure also gave me the insight that our education system in India is phenomenal. And we can stand out anywhere in the world.
And we are in every way. We see Indians flourishing in almost all the career options and in any part of the world.
But in 1985, there was not that much awareness. There was no internet. Even to look for my scholarship, my fellowship with ICHR, I had to find out, ask around. Someone said, there's ICHR in Delhi. I went there, looked up the directory, a big one, found ICHR 35 Firozshah Road, went there with my biodata, met Professor Grover, the chairman, who said, congratulations, you're the first student from outside Delhi who's come here.
Lovely.
And you have all the eligibility requirements for a fellowship. So, when I came back with this amazing exposure, with lots of insights, I shared an idea with my parents that I want to do something in the field of career counselling.
But then your study was history and kind of...
History leads to higher order thinking skills. History gives you a global vision. And the experience I got was phenomenal. I tell students today, no matter what subject you study, if it resonates with you, it develops your cognitive skills.
True.
It opens your mind to possibilities.
Right.
And history leads to higher order thinking skills.
Rightly said. And from Lucknow to London, what a journey. In fact, we could have a book titled Lucknow to London and your entire journey and learnings.
So what happened there? Correct. I mean, that's a great observation. So I was always interested in the field of education. I had applied for lectureships. I had got 2 in hand. But I was always entrepreneurial. I wanted to do something different, but in the field of education. So I wanted to combine my passion for education with my desire to do something different.
Right.
Which would tap my entrepreneurial and leadership skills.
Plus, I think also the fact that, you wanted a scholarship, you didn't have the resources available, but then on your own, you found that path, that this is the way, instead of giving up ki koi information nahi available hai, you made that effort, you walked that extra mile. So probably that also made you realize that, this kind of opportunities, students need a platform wherein they can get easy access to information which can help them in their further studies.
So right. And it makes you a possibility thinker.
Yeah.
So I shared this idea with my parents. And in a very short moment of that conversation, my mother said, "Why don't you call it the Institute for Career Studies?"
Wow. What a beautiful story.
And I said to my mother that this is such a big name for just an idea. And she said, "You will grow into it." And so from that first idea, over the last 39 years now, next year is 40 years, 4 decades, we have grown into it to a huge network of schools where we do career counseling and guidance, and to also reaching out to students in rural areas, remote areas. We have recently launched an app, ICS CAREER GPS.
Lovely.
It is to reach the unreached. It's the app that bridges the gap.
Gap between.
Because there's a huge need. Research has shown, recent research, that 75% of the students in our country do not make well-informed choices. They are misguided.
And they're not aware that certain choices are available. So, say if you are doing a medical degree, the only thought that comes to your mind is, I'll become a doctor and I'll choose this or this stream. But there are n number of fields and opportunities within that
specializations within that. For example, you talked about the medical field.
Yeah.
So you have the paramedical field as well, with physiotherapy, optometry, audiology, speech therapists, medical technicians. Now, if you're interested in medical and law, you can go for genetics law,
right.
You can go for research. So in each and every field, there are a lot of specializations. And we realized that we have to continuously do the research to find out what next. And today, especially in a very volatile, uncertain, complex world, we have to track the changes.
True.
So that we can guide students to be future ready.
Very true. So what are the gaps do you usually see when children come for counseling or parents come for, their wards counseling? What are the challenges or few things that you have noticed over the years?
So the biggest challenge we have noticed is that there are misconceptions.
Okay.
Numerous misconceptions. And there's stereotypical thinking. The biggest misconception is that science stream is the best.
Yeah, I mean everyone
then
wants to take science.
And
then arts is the lowest.
Arts is the lowest.
True,
Whereas
true.
today, there's been a move from STEM to STEAM.
True.
Science, technology, engineering, maths, to science, technology, engineering, arts and math. So bringing about that awareness. Fortunately, the National Education Policy has demolished the streams.
Right.
And has opened up choices across art, science, commerce, which is so important because then students take up those subjects that resonate with them.
True.
And they're also able to connect the dots. And today there are many, many specializations, which are combinations. For example, if you study economics and psychology, there's behavioral economics.
Yes.
Study math and history, there's cliodynamics, wherein you use the exactitude of mathematics to predict trends.
True.
So then you can have plan A, B, and C. There's medical humanities. So there are a lot of
earlier people would take, math, science, physics, chemistry, maths. Maths and history was not a combination. You're like, history kaun leta hai? Kind of a
so now
statement.
if you enjoy physics, chemistry, math, and you want to go in for any engineering related or technology related field, you can take up history as a fourth subject, or geography, or economics, or anything else. You don't need physics, chemistry, math for careers like civil aviation, Navy,
True.
Air Force. So you can take physics, math, chemistry is not needed, take two other subjects. So you have to understand what the requirements are, match it with what your aptitudes and interests are, and then make choices.
Very true. So that counseling is something which we need, and that has to be made available to everyone. And with your institute, I think you're bridging that gap. Yes. And now that you have your app also in place, I'm sure people can get a lot of information from there and then maybe come for a consultation or counseling session.
Absolutely.
Here.
So the app is ICS CAREER GPS.
Okay.
It's like an encyclopedia. We have a process: know yourself, inform yourself, plan for yourself. Know, inform, plan. So first of all, get to know what your strengths are, aptitudes are, interests are. So what I believe in, that your aptitudes, what you're great at, is your power.
Right.
But your interests, what you're passionate about, is your superpower. And it's the superpower that drives your power.
And that makes you successful
and
also.
That makes you successful. Because your passion should be your profession. And that is a time you want to continuously improve your knowledge and skills to excel in your field. And you have time for pursuing your hobbies and interests as well. Inform yourself. Information is power. The right information at the right time shows you the right opportunity, and you move towards that. Plan for yourself is you then plan on what steps you're going to take. What are your goals? How do you get there? So the questions we need to ask are: who am I? Where am I? Where do I want to go? How do I get there? What should I do to get there? So this is the process that we have in our counseling program. And it is not something that you decide at one moment of time for the rest of your life.
True. It's a gradual process. It keeps on happening.
It's a process. And specifically today, with Gen Z and Gen Alpha, Gen Z was born between 1995 to 2010 and thereafter Gen Alpha. They're going to have at least 5 career innings. 5 different careers, not jobs.
Wow.
Also, 85% of job specializations, 10 years from now,
will
don't
not
exist today. So, it is important then to continuously align your inner universe with the outer universe.
And as they say, the kids of today, what they are learning in school, they don't even know what kind of jobs they are learning for. So what they are learning right now might become totally obsolete, with the AI and everything coming. Things are going to shift. So you have to constantly learn, inform, evolve yourselves
and you have to be entrepreneurial.
Yes.
You have to pivot very quickly, change tracks where required. So future readiness requires tracking the changes. What is very important? There's a fear that AI will take over jobs.
Humans will be replaced.
Millions of jobs will be lost. Yes, millions will be lost, but millions more will be created
as well. Very true.
So we need to outsmart smart technology.
True. And we need to also remember that this technology was conceptualized by a human brain.
True.
So, it's we who have created it.
That's how you outsmart it.
Yeah.
So you track the changes. You continuously see what is required now to shape the next level of technology, artificial intelligence, for the benefit of humankind. Then human touch is important.
Very true.
All high touch careers will be relevant forever. It's about high touch before high tech. The personal touch, the human touch, empathy, understanding. I can say that the same level of understanding and empathy and human connectedness can never happen with a robot.
Lovely. Very true and very apt. And if we talk about your life, that time maybe that kind of system, technology and apps were not prevalent, yet you lived a very empowered life. You developed yourself, you updated yourself, you broke all the myths also, I would say, you know, from Lucknow going to London, that too on a fellowship, and that too by pursuing an arts degree, because, you know, when I was going to US on a scholarship, so I was told कि अच्छा arts पढ़ के भी scholarship मिलता है, वो तो सिर्फ science के बच्चों को मिलता है. So you broke that myth, you became an entrepreneur. Like right now we talk about startups and business and all of it. That time that was not the buzzword.
So this was a startup because I pioneered career counselling. But what was very important for the success of the Institute for Career Studies was the fact that we constantly upgraded the technology. Constantly upgraded the technology, brought in a website when it was required, brought in an app when it was required, brought in AI and machine learning into the system. So it's important to keep in touch with technology to be more efficient. And that is useful. And one is more efficient if you have the records, if you can track the students, if you can personalize the kind of information that has to go for them. So for example, if a student has done a program with us and it shows law is indicated or engineering or management or 2 or 3 of these, they get personalized information. So we have an MIS system.
Nice.
So they get that information at the right time. We are also into social media, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, with a lot of information. We have a blog. Because as I said, information is power.
Yes, and you have to be on all platforms. You cannot say that I'm on Facebook, then I'll not be on Insta.
And it has to be very, very well projected. So we have a media team, and the media team, the creative team, they make very, very good posts. The right information has to go out. Timely information has to go out. Going back to a previous question about what are some of the difficulties students face. One is those misconceptions. The other is parental or peer pressure. Societal pressure that certain careers are better than others. So then there is this whole issue of, I want to make my parents happy. So perhaps I should carry on doing what they want me to do. But that leads to a lot of setbacks. So we therefore do a lot of sessions with parents. And our counseling programs have a very important central role for parents, where we meet with parents as well, and then parents and students, so that everybody is on the same platform. Same page. We have found that whenever there's a success story in any field, the person who has been successful invariably says, this was possible because parents believed in me, parents encouraged me, parents helped me to realize my dreams. So often it's the other way around. Parents impose their dreams and aspirations on their children, and that is unfortunate. But I believe that after such meaningful sessions and discussions, parents invariably support their children. They want the best for their children.
Very true. But they want it from their perspective, you know. And as you said, counseling is important. I think parents need to be counseled more than the child in every way.
And they are very open to it. So what we basically talk about is, it's important to prepare our children for the future rather than for the past. Using the experiences we had of the past. So whatever was useful there we bring forward. But we also embrace what is new and what is relevant.
Lovely. So great work being done by you, and you know, you're the perfect example of women empowerment, I would say, learning, updating and empowering students, both boys and girls, across the globe, I would say, because of the technology. That barrier is over. Even from abroad, people can consult from your institute.
And they do, from across the world. Now, very quickly, some of the other things that we've done is that we look at the entire spectrum of all stakeholders, from students to parents to teachers to principal and society.
Yes.
So we have a postgraduate diploma in career guidance for
Okay.
counselors. We do a lot of training programs for teachers. We do conclaves and consultations with principals. So our role is to connect the field of education with careers and society and the world. So we have global collaborations with universities as well. And we have done many programs with them to ensure that students get to know more about what is happening in the world around them, what courses universities have introduced which are useful for careers. So top universities have come to campuses in India and delivered some hands-on courses and programs.
Wow.
So that's another area.
And I think you're also part of a lot of schools as board of directors and other things.
True. And because of my fascination for community service, my heart is there. From a very young age, I was involved with the empowerment of women, of girls, because in our family that was always the case.
True.
My parents, my grandparents, aunts, the whole family had that
Giving back to the society concept,
that philanthropic outlook.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, did a lot of work which got recognized. So I was invited, for example, to the UN conference in Copenhagen.
Oh, wow.
It was a social summit, 1995. The first Cold War UN meeting that talked about education for all, health for all,
true.
employment for all. Then the UN Summit for Women in Beijing, which talked about equality and equity. The State of the World Forum. Of late, I have also participated in the value creation global summits. So there was one in Kanazawa, year before last year it was in US in the University of Maryland, and this year it's going to be in Brazil in Sao Paulo.
Wow.
And I gave the concept of value dominant learning, wherein values and value creation are interlinked so that everybody is creating value at a personal level, professional level, and societal level based on principles.
Very true.
So that is something very exciting also. The world needs that today.
True, and lovely concepts that you're talking about. I'm sure this is going to bridge the gap that's there between the educationist and the common people. Until unless we bridge that gap, we'll not have a holistic welfare society wherein each one is doing their best and getting the best of it. So it was lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your time, and more power to you. May the institute flourish leaps and bounds in coming years.
And so my favorite quotations that I share with students, one is, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Yes.
And I found it happens. It happened in my life. But between dreaming and doing, wake up, make it happen. The other is taken from the Upanishads. You are what your deep driving desire is.
Yeah.
What your desire is, so is your will. What your will is, so are your deeds. What your deeds are, so is your destiny.
Wow, such profound thoughts.
And if we do connect with this concept, you can actually steer your life and realize your swadharma, your purpose in life, which gives you meaning in life, which gives you fulfillment, happiness, joy, everything.
Yes, and that's what we all are aspiring for. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely
It's been
talking
an
to you.
immense pleasure being with you, Raj Smriti ji. One of the most engaging interviews.
Thank you. Thank you.